After talking with multiple Fortnite pros, I'm going to show you all the techniques which you can super easily apply on your own gaming setup, which also helped me to get over 1000 FPS in the battle bus or even 700 while gliding in, guys. You have to understand how insanely high these FPS numbers are, especially for gliding in. And in the first place, before we cover anything which you apply directly on your PC, I want to make sure that you please create a restore point on your system. Always make sure to make one, guys, that is super important, so therefore pause the video right now and make a recovery point. Keep in mind, these are all steps which work for the majority of people, but there sometimes might be issues with your specific PC build, and I don't know in which state your Windows is. It might be that you already broke it or some other stuff. In the first place, let's talk about the best Fortnite in-game settings. And what I want to straight up talk about, guys, are stretched resolutions. We see so many people like Debloat legit winning multiple FNCSs, and the only reason he swapped to native was because of the Fortnite LAN, and he was forced to. If he still could, he would still play on a stretch resolution. So therefore, I have two specific ones which I want to talk about, guys, a low-end and a high-end version. The first one is going to be 1176 x 735, which legit gave me insane aim in Fortnite. Like, I was not missing a single shot, and my FPS were all the time super high, even in the reload mode, which is super hardware demanding depending on how much is going on in such a small radius on the map. So therefore, I can highly recommend you 1176 x 735, which you can, by the way, really easy apply. And if you want to apply it, all you gotta do is open up your Nvidia control panel or AMD catalyst, and just simply click under change resolution and add a custom one, then click here under create custom resolutions, and then 1176 x 735, and make sure to put in your maximum refresh rate and test it. So for me, I already added it here, of course, so that's the easiest way. And what a lot of people don't tell you is, guys, to actually get zero input delay with a stretch resolution, you should always as well change your actual monitor resolution to that one. And after doing that, you want to switch up your game user settings, so therefore switch up percenter 10%, click under local, press F on your keyboard for Fortnite game, then you're gonna click saved, config, Windows client, and then open up your game user settings. And in here, just simply scroll down a little bit until you can find your resolution sizes X and Y, and then we're going to change it to 1176 x 735. And of course, also make sure that you put it here for the last user confirmed resolution sizes, and then click under save, and you're good to go. And the second stretch resolution, which I of course also want to cover, guys, is 1720 x 1080. I don't really think I have to say a lot about this resolution. Debloat has been using it for so long, Asian Jeff as well, and many other Fortnite pros, they're all dominating on it. So therefore as well, one of the best ones. But now let's hop into the in-game settings. And for the best in-game settings, guys, everything which I basically applied is of course full screen in the first place. The next up for the resolution, as mentioned, I highly recommend a stretch res, super important. Frame rate limit, for me personally, I have it always set 3 FPS underneath my maximum monitor refresh rate, which is going to help the Unreal Engine to sync the picture better and result in smoother gameplay. Then for the rendering mode, you 100% want to use the performance mode, guys, on both Nvidia and AMD. Then for your 3D resolution, I usually keep it on 100% and everything else like viewing distance and textures completely on the lowest. But of course, if you're really struggling with FPS, you can as well, additionally to the stretch res, also turn down your 3D resolution. It's going to look a little bit worse in comparison, guys, but none or less, it's going to give you a lot better FPS. And finally, the most important one, report performance stats you want to put on disable. And as well, under audio, once you're in here, guys, you want to put actually your sound quality to low. It even says in the description this may decrease performance if you put it on high. And of course, visualized sound effects should also be turned off. And that way your Fortnite is going to run exactly like mine right now here in the background, with super high FPS and very consistent performance. Are you tired of having high ping in Fortnite and you wonder how all your favorite Fortnite pros always seem to have zero delay? What you need for that is no ping, guys. Your #1 client to reduce your ping in every single game you guys want to play. Let's say you want to play Fortnite, you just search it up, select it, and no ping is gonna give you an overview of all of the best servers available in your near. And the coolest part is it works on multiple regions. So if you like to play cash cap on a different region, it can still help you to get the best server. So just select the server you want to use, click on to optimize this game, and no ping is gonna automatically help you to get the best connection possible. Additionally, they also feature some FPS boost features, and they are all tested tweaks which are going to help you to improve your system speed. Make sure to check out no ping with the link in the video description. And as the first major step, which I actually recommend every single one of you guys to do, is to prevent your PC from overheating. Hear me out, there are so many people out there who are gaming for multiple hours, their PC completely overheats and they're losing out on performance, guys. Because as soon as your PC overheats, you're gonna get thermal throttling, which means that your PC is gonna clock down. But what you rather want to get instead, guys, is a tool which is called fan control. That one allows you to basically control every single fan which is built into your PC case. They have a beautiful website where you can already see the entire tool with all of the features which you have, your GPU fan, CPU fan, and all of the other ones. So now, first of all, The link to it is going to be in the video description. Just simply click under download, and then in here you can either get a portable version, which means it's all going to be in one file, or you're going to get the installer. This is what I'm going to do. It might tell you something like Windows protection. This is because this tool has full-on access to all of your system fans, which of course Windows usually wants to prevent. But for this tool here, this is actually very trusted, guys, and yeah, so therefore you don't have to worry about anything. We're going to go here through the installation real quick. This is only going to take a few seconds, and then you can see already launch fan control. Sometimes it's going to tell you that you need like the latest version of .NET 8.0, and we're just going to get this one here. So therefore you maybe have to install this one here as well. But now the next time you actually check it out on your PC, you should see fan controller, click under yes. It's now already analyzing the whole entire PC, basically checking all the fans which are physically built into your PC, even water coolings and all of that are being registered in here. So therefore that's a great tool, guys. So in my PC right now here, it's 74 sensors. That's because I have a water cooling in there, and also like 6 case fans in total, plus like some other ones of my GPU. So therefore, yeah, it might take a little bit. Sometimes it's gonna tell you missing controller sensor. This is due to the fact that when I actually built my PC myself, I used some extenders for one controller, so therefore I cannot control completely all the fans, but it doesn't really matter too much. This is how it should look like for most of you if you started the tool for the very first time on your PC. What you want to do in the first place is find basically your GPU, guys. For me, it's Nvidia RTX, so therefore just simply search up Nvidia or AMD. That way you know, okay, these are the most important ones, guys. Because your GPU is the most important one, you want to keep it as cool as possible. And for most of you, what you got to do is first of all, click here onto these 3 dots and make sure to enable manual control. If you don't have that one here, you actually cannot control your GPU fans. Make sure that it's checked for both of these here, and then you can see it already swapped it here over now to green. That way we can now actually control the RPM, or basically how fast our fans are actually spinning on our GPU. And for me, guys, I always put it between something like 70 and 80%. I really don't care. My PC case is fully closed and it's also pretty silent, and anyways you cannot really hear it if you have your headphones on, and I would rather have a little bit louder PC but no thermal throttling. Then for the rest of your fan cases, you actually want to make sure to enable here everywhere manual control if you wanna, and then you gotta sort of like check what works the best. So it's not like too loud as mentioned. Again, something like 70 actually works really good when it comes down here to RPM, and that way you can kind of like experiment around. Okay, do I need it a little bit more? Do I need it a little bit less? You can always use a tool like hardware info 64, which I'm also gonna put in the video description, and with that one you can basically check all the temperatures on your PC. Something here like core temperature around 40 to 50 degrees here right now. The maximum is 60, and as well like all the other temperatures here. Like my motherboard is right now what, like 30-40 degrees. This is totally okay, of course in idle. So what I would recommend you guys is to actually use a tool like this here to always check your temps and then adjust your fan speed equally to it. Super important step, many people are missing out on this. Make sure you go under settings and always click here under start minimized, and also like start on user log on, and then you should be good to go. This tool is gonna run in the background, basically always making sure that your PC is cool, and that way you avoid thermal throttling. Next up, guys, what's also super important, for most PCs you want to keep the amount of processors and your overall RAM usage as low as possible. How do you do this? Remove all the unnecessary programs from your PC and make sure to disable as much as possible in your startup. Usually on this PC I have around 60 processors only, but since I'm running OBS, my recording software, my audio and all of that, my camera, you know, like YouTube stuff, it's a little bit higher than usual. Now you have basically 2 options. You can either debloat your PC manually, which I'm about to show you, which is also really safe and very easy, or what you could do instead, guys, is also try out the 2 best custom operating systems in my opinion, which are Atlas and RaviOS. I made a comparison video about these. The info icon is right now on the screen. Make sure to check it out afterwards, but if you rather want to keep your current Windows and want to do this by yourself, let me show you exactly how to do this. So in the first place, what you want to do is go into your task manager and click on the startup. In here, you make sure to disable everything which you don't need every single time when you launch your PC. So I'm just gonna go here through this. EA I don't need, GOG Galaxy I don't need, iTunes I guess also don't need, Java Updater also don't need. Just let me make sure that you go through this list here and basically disable everything where you know 100%, okay, I don't need it every single time. Because what actually most people don't know, once you start something like the Riot client or Steam or something like that, they have so many extra processes which are also being launched in the background. That's not only one process. Most of the time, it's already like 10, 12 processes. So therefore, you want to make sure that you disable everything completely. So what could we do now possibly to actually reduce the amount of processes on our PC? And for that, guys, we're gonna be using the Chris Titus Tech utility. This right here is one of the best tools which you can probably use to manually debloat your Windows. We of course could also make a custom ISO file and all of that, but for most users right now here, this is gonna be the most user-friendly one. So therefore, what you want to do, click on the link in the video description and copy this one comment here. Then you're gonna go into a Windows search bar, type in that PowerShell, right-click onto it and run as administrator. Once this blue window here popped up, just simply type in that the following code, and then you're gonna press enter and wait for it to load real quick in the background, guys. And there we already are. The tool is super advanced. You have an install page in here for everything you could ever want on your PC, but what we want to focus around are tweaks. And there we already have recommended selections, standard, minimal, clear, and get installed. What you want to do is click on the standard. You could of course also do minimal if you're kind of like scared with what you're doing. Trust me guys, all of these here are tested and very safe. And on top of that, it also creates a restore point for you, so therefore you don't have to be worried. But of course, if you want to go like super sure, you know, like the extra step, you can also create another restore point, something like before Chris Titus or whatever you want to call it, and create it. Coolest part about this is as well, if you don't know exactly what it does here, you just simply have to hover over it and it's going to give you a detailed explanation of what it does directly. Something like disable telemetry, just simply click onto it, which basically just allows a bunch of apps and other stuff on your Windows PC to collect data from it. And also disable game DVR, which is kind of like this built-in Windows recording / streaming thing, which basically no one really uses. It's also linked to Microsoft and Xbox and all of that. And basically all of these here are super useless if you just want to straight up game on your PC and maybe like do a little bit of content creation. So therefore make sure to leave all of these here. We can also run ONO Setup 10, which is also a great addition in this tool here. Basically disabling a bunch of more features here from your PC, like disable and reset advertising ID and info. Again, just Microsoft collecting data to basically give you like better ads and all of that in Windows directly or whenever you use the Edge browser and all of that. So what you want to do is click on the actions and apply only recommended settings. Those are safe 100%. You want to create a restore point? Yes, of course, no problem. Just make one before so you completely safe, guys. And now you can see 14 settings have been successfully updated. Then we can close it and now you can run the main tweaks, which I'm going to do right now here in this recording. And you can see it now in the background. Of course, first of all, creating the system restore point 28%. And then we can see system restore point created successfully. We're going to wait for it real quick. And after this, I'm going to restart my PC and actually make a recording with my phone to show you directly how low my processes are. And you can see tweaks are finished. It's right now you're still cleaning up my hard drive. And what we gotta do now is basically close this here. So click on OK. And now what I'm gonna do is restart my PC real quick. And as you can see, guys, my PC just launched here. I'm 1 minute into it. And we are on 68 processes and 3 gigs of RAM usage. So therefore, great debloating already. We disabled a bunch of processes. And now let's continue with the next steps. So next up, what we're going to need, guys, is the right power plan. And I see way too many people right now here who are not actually utilizing either high performance or ultimate performance. But here you gotta be a little bit careful. If you're on a more low to mid-end PC, you want to utilize high performance at least. You definitely don't want to use something like balanced or power saver, even though it says recommended. You're basically missing out on so much performance. So for most of you, already high performance is gonna be there. But if you have a little bit more beefy PC, you definitely want to utilize ultimate performance or even a custom power plant, really depending. If you have a CustomOS, utilize that one. For most of you, ultimate performance is gonna be the way to go, since let's say you already have like something like at least like a Ryzen 5 second, third generation, something like that. Let's say a multi-core CPU. And if you don't have this option, what you want to do is basically go into the video description, then copy the following comment. And if you don't have it, all you gotta do is open up your CMD, right click onto it and run it as an administrator. Just let me search up CMD, click on the yes here, of course, and then you're gonna paste in the following code, which you can find in the video description. Make sure to paste it in here and press enter. Then the next time you now check here actually your power options, you're then going to find ultimate performance here in hide additional plans. It should be in here somewhere. For me, since I already selected it, it's already up here, and the difference is gonna be insane, guys. Like really make sure that you try out both of these here, high performance or ultimate. As mentioned, on a more capable PC, definitely ultimate performance. The next up, you're gonna search up game until you can find game mode settings and actually make sure that you enable the Windows game mode itself. This one is basically going to make sure that Windows utilizes all the resources for your game directly. It's going to disable background processes and also lower the priority of them, so basically a Windows PC can more focus on the game itself. It's been pretty good since like the last few updates, especially on Windows 11, so therefore make sure that you utilize this one. Then what you also definitely want to do is click on the graphics settings, go here under browse and under C, and then here under program files and Epic Games, Fortnite game, binaries, Windows 64, and then you're going to add your Fortnite Windows 64 shipping exe and make sure to go into options and put it to high performance. Then save it and you're also here set up and good to go. And next up, guys, also of course prepared for you a pack, and you can find this file like everything else which I cover on my channel on my discord.gg/thestripes in the performance packs channel. If you can find it, just simply type in here performance on the top and then you should see it. This is completely without ads, and by the way, Discord always tells you this here. You can even try it out on your own one, even if you upload just a picture or something like that. Here's a small example. This is another pack from my Discord directly. It's the low-end config pack. and of course there's nothing in there. And once you got it in the first place, guys, we're now going to focus on our virtual RAM size, and this one is super important, especially if you're more in this category right now here. If you're on lower amounts of RAM, this is super important and really nice. What you gotta do basically is just open up your task manager, and then under performance and memory you can then see how much gigs of RAM you have right now. For me it's 48 gigs in total, so therefore what I'm about to do is basically click under 48 gigs of RAM, which is a registry entry which is gonna give you the right amounts of virtual memory. Just let me click under yes, and then you can see adding this to your registry, yes of course, and click under OK. And now if you actually check your performance settings and go here under virtual memory, you can then see that it's gonna give you the right values which you need. It works completely the same for you if you have 16 gigs of RAM, 8 gigs of RAM, or 4 gigs. 32 is also pretty common, or 64. Just simply click onto it, and this is going to help you to basically get the right amounts of virtual memory, which is really important, especially if you have lower amounts, since if your normal RAM is already being used to an extent, your Windows is going to put certain data on your virtual memory to still make sure that the PC is running fast. In the next step now, guys, we're going to also focus on the Nvidia Profile Inspector, and I made a very special profile for you guys, which is going to work the best for every single one of you. What you gotta do is open up your Nvidia Profile Inspector, click under yes, and then all you gotta do is click on this top bar here and type in there Fortnite. Make sure that it's marked here in green, guys, Fortnite Launch Exit, super important. Then all you gotta do is import user-defined profile, and then directly from the pack itself, guys, you can then see the little stripes, and from August 16th, that's my profile, and make sure to open it up. You can then see profile successfully imported, and it's going to give you all the best settings for the best performance in Fortnite. Everything is already optimized fully, and the only thing which you can do is your maximum pre-rendered frames. Here I'm gonna give you a small tip. If you're more on a lower to mid-end PC, I would recommend you to use the 3D application settings. If you're more on a higher end or more capable gaming PC, you can actually put it on 1 to get way lower input delay. This is exactly what I'm doing on my PC since I'm running a pretty good one, and this is also what most of your favorite pros are using. This is drastically going to reduce the amount of input delay you have in Fortnite, but it's going to cost you a few FPS, so therefore you have to try it out yourself, or as mentioned on a low-end PC, just simply use the 3D application settings. Then all you gotta do is hit apply settings, and then you're already good to go with this step as well.